Hey, it's Michael, and in this WordPress tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create this pop-up and also this slide-in. It's super easy to create, and I'm going to show you how to do it. We'll put in some text and images and change a few settings. At the end of this video, you'll be able to control things like when the pop-up appears, when it disappears, and you'll also know how to connect it to Mailchimp so that any email you collect can be used for future marketing campaigns. Mailchimp is a service that helps you design, send, and track email newsletters, so it's the perfect place to build an email list. Finally, I'm going to show you how to create compelling copy for your pop-ups using one secret strategy which I've been using for every pop-up that I create. So let's get started. Alright, so let's dive in. I'm currently logged into one of the websites I was working on for a previous tutorial, and I think it would be the perfect website to actually demonstrate pop-ups and slide in. So this is for a fictitious company, Insect Away. It's a pest control website. And as you can see, I built out some sample content and also some sample services. So let's scroll back up and let's go to the dashboard. Now, the first thing we need to do is add a plugin. So we're going to go to plugins and add new plugin. And we're going to search for the plugin called Hustle. Right, so this is the plugin here. As you can see, it has over 100,000 plus active installations, and it has about 4.5 stars out of 5 reviews. So I would say this is a good plugin to go with, and we're going to go ahead and click install now. And we're going to click on activate. Now, when you activate a plugin, usually there's an option that appears on the left. It sometimes appears in the settings or the tools, or sometimes you'll also see a tab. In this case, the Hustle plugin created a Hustle tab on the left, and so this is the plugin that we'll be using to create our pop-ups. So if I click on dashboard really quickly, you'll see some quick stats here, like the average conversion rate, the total conversions, the amount of pop-ups you have activated on the website, and when you had your last conversion. So really good stats to see. Now on the left, you'll also see a number of different options. For example, we can create pop-ups, we can create slide-ins, we can even create social sharing. So our first focus is going to be on creating a pop-up for the website. So I'm going to go ahead and click on pop-ups. Then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click on create. Now, the first thing you need to do is create a name for your pop-up. So in this case, I'm creating a pop-up for a special offer. So let's go ahead and say pest control special offer. All right, next you'll see two different options, whether this is an email pop-up or an informational pop-up. Now in this case, I actually want to collect subscriber email addresses. So I'm going to leave it at email opt-in, and I'm going to click on choose template. So here you'll see a number of different template options here, and these are all free. So you can choose the one that really appeals to you. In this case, I'm going to click on the one that says giveaway. And so you can preview it here. Let's take a quick look. All right, that looks good. So I'm going to click close and I'm going to click on choose template. All right, here you go. So of course you can see that there are some sections that are pre-filled. So if you click on preview again, you'll see that we actually have a title called Are You Excited? And then we have a bigger title which says we are giving away a $50 gift card every day. So that information actually relates to the same title and a subtitle that you see here. So you can easily change out the content and the images to make this pop-up completely your own. Now I've gone ahead and I've actually created some sample information which we'll be using, and I'll put a link in the description box below so that you can follow along with this tutorial. And once you have the hang of it, you can actually create your own pop-ups. So I'm actually going to start with the top heading here. So let's go ahead and copy, and we're going to pop back over to the website, and I'm going to change the title here. Then I'm going to go ahead and copy the main heading, and let's replace this. Next, I'm going to change the image. So I'm going to click on this section and you'll see an option for us to change out the image. Now I've gone ahead and put up some images for the purpose of this tutorial, but if you wanted to upload your own image, you could just go to upload files, select files, and then you could add your own image. So let's go back to the media library, and I'm actually going to use this image. So let's click on use this image, and we're going to continue scrolling. Now you'll see a section for the main content. So let's go back again, and I'm just going to copy this text, and I'm going to paste the text here. Now, as we continue scrolling, we'll come up on the call to action option. Now, this is where you're able to put a button on your form so that when someone clicks on it, they can go somewhere else on your website. Because we're using an opt-in form and we're actually collecting emails, the opt-in form won't need a button. So we're going to leave that checked as none, and we're going to continue scrolling. And here you'll see the option for a link. So this link basically provides your visitors with an option to opt out of seeing your pop-up again. As you know, certain pop-ups can get kind of annoying, and so it's important to have links like this in place. But here's a cheeky way you can actually play on the psychology of your visitors. So I've actually put a text here which says, "No thanks, I love pests." So let's go ahead and put this in place, and let's take a preview of what that looks like. So of course we have our normal pop-up here. There's still some text that we need to change out, like the win gift card, but here's the idea. So we have the offer on the website which says we're offering a free initial pest inspection, and it basically asks for the person's email address. Now, they can go ahead and put in their email, or they can decide that, hey, I don't want to see this pop up anymore, and they can click on no thanks, I love pests. But if you think about it for a second, who actually loves to have pests in their home? No one, right? So I think this would be the perfect messaging to have on a pop-up like this. And whatever pop-up you're creating for your own website, you can have similar messaging as well. So next, I'm going to close this here, and I'm going to move on to the next step. So next we have emails. So under the email tab, we'll see that there is an option for us to configure the opt-in form fields. So basically we have an email field already, but if we wanted to add additional fields, for example, a name field, we could click on insert here, and then you'll see all the options. So we can collect things like the name, the phone number, the address, the website, the date, etc. So let me just show you what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and click on name, and then I'm going to click on insert fields. So here we have the email and the name. I'm going to position this up top, and then I'm going to click on preview. So now on our pop-up, we actually have the two fields, so they can go ahead and fill in the name and the email address, and then click on this button here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Let's actually keep the name, because I think for a promotion like this, it may actually be important. So I'm going to keep that there. And then I'm going to scroll down to the next thing. So this is where we actually change the button text. So at the moment it says win gift card. I'm going to click on this here, and I'm going to change this text to something like I'm interested. All right, and this is the error message that displays if there's an error with the form. So I'm going to leave that as is. And of course, you can see there's other options. So we could apply a custom CSS class. Don't worry about this now. This requires you to know a little bit of CSS, and we don't need to really worry about it for the purpose of our form. So I'm going to leave that as is, and I'm just going to click on apply. All right, so that's good. Now we have the submission behavior. So this is the text that's displayed once the form successfully submits. This is the message here, and we can actually change this message if we'd like. So at the moment it says, thank you for participating in the giveaway. We'll announce the winners list soon. So instead we could say something like, thank you for submitting your name and email. Someone, or let's say our team, will be in touch soon. So I think that's great messaging there. And I'm going to continue down on the list. Now we have some other options here. For example, you can provide a file for download after the form is successfully submitted. And then the next option here says send an automated email to the user. So once someone subscribes, are we going to then send them an email? Perhaps you could say, thank you for subscribing to our list. We'll be in touch, or something really friendly to just start building that connection with the person that subscribed to your email list. So I'm going to leave that unchecked for now. And next, we're going to click on integrations. So in this step, you basically want to specify what should happen to the data once it's submitted. So in this case, the default is to save it to a local list. So the local list is provided by this plugin here, and you can actually access that email list by going to the settings up top and clicking on view email list. Or on the left hand side, you'll also see the option to view the email list here. Now there's also third-party integrations which we can use, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So if I click on the integrations page here, let's pop over this section. And on the right hand side, you'll see a bunch of different options which we can integrate with. So we can integrate with ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, Campaign Manager, and there is a ton of options for you to choose from. For this example, I'm actually going to use Mailchimp, and that's because Mailchimp has a free version which you can use when you're just starting out. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on Add Integration, and then you'll see this option here which requests an API key and also an identifier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Mailchimp by just clicking on this link, or you could go to mailchimp.com as well, and you're basically going to then create an account. So once you start creating an account, it will ask you for your username and the password, as well as a few other details about yourself. And so you'll basically fill that out, and finally you'll come up on this step which says account setup. So I am going to actually go for the free account. As I mentioned, you get a number of subscribers under the free account, and this is perfect if you're on a budget. So I'm going to go ahead and click on continue free. And then you'll see this which says preparing your account. So let's go ahead and let this finish. And just like that, we have a free account. So next, you're going to go to the right and you're going to click on your name here, and you'll see the option to click on profile. So you're going to click that. And once you're here, you're then going to go to extras and API keys. So this is the section where you generate an API key for your website. Once you're on this page, you're going to scroll down and you're going to click on create a key. So we'll just want to give our API key a name. So in this case, I'm just going to say, let's create a site. And I'm going to click on generate key. So here you'll actually see your API key, and you'll want to copy this. So I'm going to click on copy to clipboard, and I'm going to pop back over to the website, and I'm going to enter the API key here. The identifier just allows you to set a unique identifier for this integration, but it's totally not important for now. So you can just go ahead and click on connect. Alright, so you'll then see a successful message, and so now when someone opts in through your form, you'll basically save that information on the local list and also on Mailchimp. And in a later tutorial, I'll actually show you how to set up email campaigns and basically create the most amazing, beautiful emails on Mailchimp, but that's for another tutorial. For now, I'm just going to pop back over to the list that we were creating, and I'm just going to click on publish just for now so that we can have everything up to date. And once I've done that, I'm going to click on refresh. Alright, so I've refreshed the page, and as you can see, we have the local list here, and we also have the Mailchimp option here as well. Next, we have this section here, which is some more settings, but for now, I'm going to leave this as is. You're free to experiment with this if you want. I haven't really messed with this for my particular setups, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on appearance. Once you're under the appearance section, you can do some customization. So for example, you can change the desktop layout and the mobile layout. You can also customize the elements of the page. So for example, if I click on featured image, you'll see that I have an option to change where the image appears. So let's say I change this to right, and then I click on preview. You'll see that our image now appears on the right of the actual pop-up. So that's the type of customizations that you can make. You can also customize things like the width and also the position of the overall pop-up as well. So that's really cool to see. If I click on opt-in form, you'll also see some other options here, and feel free to play around with these settings. Nothing is set in stone. If you actually make a change, then you can always revert it back to what it was before. So I'm going to pretty much leave this as is because I'm completely happy with the way things are. As we scroll down further on the page, you'll also see typography. Now, the current pop-up is using the typography called Roboto, but I can actually change this if I want to something else. So let's say I go for the font type Poppins. Let's take a look at Poppins for a second, and let's click apply. Then I'm going to click on preview. You can see that our font size looks totally different. So another really cool feature of this particular plugin. There's some more settings here like the colors, which you can change around as well, and some advanced features. If you're just looking to get a pop-up up and running, then you probably won't need to mess around too much with these settings. It may get a little bit complicated if you do, but again, don't be afraid to play around. That's how you actually learn how to use a plugin, just by getting in and experimenting with some of the settings. So for now, I'm just going to scroll down and I'm going to click on visibility, which is the next feature here. So the visibility controls where on your website the pop-up should show. So for example, let's say we only wanted it to show on our homepage, or we only wanted it to show on the checkout page of our e-commerce site. We could actually set these settings to facilitate that. So basically all we need to do is go to add conditions, and then we'd click on whichever option we want. So you can set visibility settings for the posts on your website. You can set it for the pages on your website, the categories on your website. There's a long list of options here for you to choose from. Let's just say we wanted to set it just for the homepage. We could click on pages and then click add conditions. So here you'll now see that we have the pages section enabled, and all we need to do is select the name of the page. So for example, let's select home. And so now we can basically set it to only these pages. So in this case, the pop-up will now only show on the home page. I'm going to delete this since in my example, I want the pop-up to show on every page of the website, but you get the idea. So let's go ahead and delete this. The next thing we're going to move on to is the behavior. So we're going to click on that, and here you'll see a number of different options again. You can set things like the schedule. So let's say you wanted the pop-up only to show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, then you could set that up. So let me go ahead and click on this so that you can see some of the settings. So you can basically set a date and a time. This is very convenient if you're running things like a Black Friday sale or a Christmas special, or even in a case where you want to set up a pop-up but don't want to have to worry about taking it down at a later date. Then this is very convenient for you to have. Next, you'll see that there is a pop-up trigger. Now, this is very important because you don't want someone to land on your website and immediately get a pop-up. So by setting a time, for example, as you can see here, you can pretty much control when the pop-up will trigger. I think a pop-up time of about 8 seconds is good. So let me go ahead and change this. So I'm just going to change this 3 to 8. And I'm also going to put a scroll value here. So in this case, the pop-up will only show after the person has scrolled 20% of the page. I'm actually going to change this to about 40. And so those settings are good. So what I have now is that the pop-up will only show after 8 seconds and only after someone has scrolled approximately 40% of the page. There are other settings that you can trigger as well. For example, you can have a click setting. So in this case, the pop-up will only trigger once someone has clicked a link, which has this code here. And there are some settings here which you can use to get that click functionality going. Let's deactivate this. And there's also the option for exit intent. So this basically means when someone attempts to leave your website, for example, if they navigate to the top and it seems as if they're going to leave the site, then the pop-up will trigger. And finally, there's an option for ad block. So basically, the pop-up will trigger if the website detects that the person visiting your site has ad block enabled. So really powerful settings and some amazing features here for whatever pop-up you're looking to create. As we scroll down a little bit further on the website, we can see things like animation settings. So here we can control how the pop-up appears on the website and how it exits the website. So let's go ahead and experiment with this a bit. So let's change the pop-up entrance setting to bounce in right. And let's change the pop-up exit animation to, let's see, bounce out down. So let's go ahead and click on preview. And here you can see the pop-up has an animation. And if I now exit, you can see it bounces down. So those are the settings that I had in place. You'll also find some other options which you can customize, and each of these options actually give you a description. So you can determine whether you want this feature or not for your pop-up. There are different options for you to close the pop-up, and you can actually select which option you want in this section. And finally, these are the last settings for this particular pop-up. You can actually control a little bit more of the features, the page scrolling, and the visibility of the overall pop-up. So that's pretty much it. Once we are complete with all the changes, we're then going to click on update, and this will actually make the pop-up live on the website. I had actually published it earlier, but if you haven't published your pop-up just yet, then you can actually publish it right now. So I'm going to take a look at the website, and let's open it in a new tab. And here we have the website, and if you remember, our pop-up will only show after 8 seconds and once we've scrolled down a bit on the web page. So it has all the information that we said earlier, including the offer that we are providing to the visitor. And basically, once they enter their name and email address, then it will go to us on this website as well as on Mailchimp. So this is a great pop-up for email opt-in offer, but I want to also create another one really quickly just to show you the versatility of this particular plugin. So I'm going to go ahead and create the second pop-up, which is more informational offer. So in this one, we're going to say take advantage of a 15% discount. We're going to set up a button which can then be linked to a next page which will have offers. Once I've done that, then I'm going to show you a secret strategy which I've been using to create content for these pop-ups which have been converting. So you'll definitely want to stick around and see that as well. Before we continue, I have one small request. If you're finding this tutorial helpful and want to learn more about web design, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. There's so much more information I'm excited to share, and I'd love if you could join the community. So I'm back in the back office of the website, the admin section, and I'm going to go to Hustle, and this time we're actually going to click on slide-ins. So this is another way of bringing the information on the screen. Instead of having it pop up, we're actually going to have it slide in on the screen. So that's the difference. Once we're here, we're going to go ahead and click on create, and let's give the slide-in a name. So we're going with promotional slide-in. And this time, instead of email opt-in, we're actually going to go with informational one. So let's click on informational, and we're going to click on choose template. For this slide-in, we're actually going to use this last one here. So we're going to click on choose template. And as you can see, we have some dummy content here, which is the content of the original slide-in, which we're going to customize. If I click on preview, you'll see an example of what it currently looks like. and here it is. So I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to start customizing the content. So I'm going to pop over to the document, and let's go ahead and copy this first main heading, and we're going to pop this in place. Next, we're going to go back and we're going to copy the main content. Let's pop back over and pop this in place. And you'll see an option here under images where we can swap out the image. So we're going to change this image here to one that I uploaded previously. So we click on that image and click use this image. As you scroll down, we see the option to have a call to action. So if you remember in the previous tutorial, we had this setting set to none, but in this case, we're actually going to use a button because we want when the slide-in comes up on screen, they can read the information and then click to view offers. So at the moment, this is the button label here, and this is where you would actually put a URL or a website address, so that when the visitor clicks on that button, then they can go to your other page. So that's good. We're then going to scroll down a little bit more, and here you can see the never see this again link settings, which you can also customize if you'd like. Next, I'm going to click on appearance, and here you can see the same settings we discussed earlier, such as customizing the layout and also all the elements of the actual slide-in. You can also change around the font, and you can change around the colors as well. I'm going to click on visibility, which is the next setting, and here again you can also customize where the pop-up shows, and you can also customize the behavior as well, which is the trigger of the actual slide-in. So these settings are pretty much similar to what you went through before, so I won't spend too much time on this, but I did want to show you that you can create different types of slide-ins or pop-ups and really make your website unique. So here is our slide-in, and this is the one that you saw featured in the thumbnail. We have that awesome cute doggy there, and we have the limited time offer shown on the right. Alright, so now it's time for me to reveal the secret strategy that I've been using to help me with the content for these pop-ups. So of course, when you're creating a website, you can always think about the information that you want to put in your pop-ups and slide-ins. However, with the advent of AI, we can also use that technology to our advantage. And I've been experimenting with this a lot, and it has basically shown me great results and great conversions. If you haven't figured out what I'm talking about so far, I'm actually referring to ChatGPT. So I love to use ChatGPT to analyze my photos, and I love to use it to help me with content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload a photo of the pop-up, and I'm going to have ChatGPT help me with the content for that pop-up. Let's go ahead and select the pop-up here, and I'm basically going to put in place this prompt. So it basically says, help me come up with a better offer. Recommend the text for each section and make it a compelling offer. I run a hair salon business. Now this doesn't have to be for a hair salon business, but whatever business you're running, you can basically replace this text with your business, and you can see what ChatGPT comes up with. So I'm going to submit this here. And here's the result. So we have each of the sections broken down completely. We have a header section, we have a main offer, we have the subtext, and we basically have the call to action and even the button text and the polite dismissal. So the polite dismissal says thanks, but I prefer my current style. So it kind of plays again on the emotion of the person visiting your website. So this is a great way for you to generate some amazing pop-ups, for you to get amazing content. And I know ChatGPT 4 comes at a cost. It is a monthly subscription. However, if you're using the free version of ChatGPT and you're actually unable to upload an image, then what you could actually do is write individual prompts. So you could start with help me with an attention grabbing question. You could then say help me with an exclusive offer, help me with a subtext, help me with a call to action. So you just break it down into individual prompts. You may not have the actual image, but these prompts can help you to generate the same result. So that's it. That's pretty much the secret strategy, and you'll see me using this tool throughout all my web design tutorials because I think it can really help you to propel your career, and whatever business you're running, then this is the solution you've been looking for to help you come up with compelling and attention grabbing content for your website. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, then please drop a like, and if you love what I've done with ChatGPT 4, then you'll definitely want to check out this video where I'll use ChatGPT 4 to generate amazing logos for different businesses.